So, give you guys some background. My name's Julien. Nice to see you guys. I was born in El Paso. I lived in El Paso till I was about 6 years old. Made my way to Dallas. My grandparents still live in El Paso, so every summer I would come visit them. So it feels like I'm home. Just kind of, the people I was saying earlier, how friendly everyone is just going to the CVS. And sometimes Dallas, it's a little fast paced and everyone just kind of keeps themselves. So I love, that's just my personality. I love just saying hi to everyone. So I'm like, it just feels good. It just feels good to be home. A little bit of background on me. So I've been in real estate for about 10 years, different positions. Started as a director of first impressions, working the front desk. Then I was an executive assistant for an agent, built a team, co-owned a team, eventually left that team, started a coaching program. I started with 5 agents in DFW. Now I have up to 75. And then I started my own team. So I do all of the things all of the time. But what I absolutely love about this business is the opportunity that we have and the ability to meet people and help people. So I'm going to teach you and talk about some lead generation strategies for you guys that we implement in our team. I have a lot of resources in here. You will get all of those resources in an email later today, so you guys can take what you want. We'll go through a few different strategies, and then I love collaboration. So don't feel shy. Raise your hand. Ask questions. If you're like, hey, I kind of already do this, but I'm missing a piece of it, or this is so out of my comfort zone, I don't even know where to start. This is collaboration, right? We're all gonna help each other. Okay. Alrighty. So I think for us to kind of really get into this, we need to talk about where we're at in the moment, right? Where's the market at the moment? Interest rates are still high. They're not the highest they've ever been, but they're also not the lowest we've ever been, right? How many of you guys are kind of already seeing the effects of that? Maybe some hesitation from buyers, hesitation from sellers. Yeah, okay. So it's been like this for a little bit, right? But we're still kind of feeling that hesitation from some clients. Nationally, inventory is low. I say that because a lot of people are moving state to state, out of state, different cities and stuff. So we are actually low on listings throughout the nation. And we're entering a skill-based market. This is my favorite market to be in, right? When interest rates were 3%, you could shake a tree outside and 3 buyers would fall out and say, hey, we're ready to go, right? And now it's like, okay, I've actually got to be a professional and be in my A game and show my value, right? It's my favorite. I'm going to say this now. I don't mean this to scare anybody that's new, okay? Build really good relationships with other agents, especially if they're not in your brokerage, because not all of them will make it, okay? I say this because 3 of my past clients were agents that said, Julien, I don't want to weather the storm. I don't want to do the work to renew my license. However, I still need to sell my house. Realtors are my favorite kind of clients to sell to because I showed up to a photography and she already staged her house. Everything was good. And I explained the contract to them, yep, we know what paragraph 12 says, right? They already know because they've gone to the training. So I say that because everyone is a potential client. Everyone is a potential client, right? Because some of them might not want to do it. Your agents that have been doing this since dinosaurs were alive, right? They're getting tired. They don't want to go fight the good fight. They don't want to go do the door knocking and all the things that it takes. And so there's a way where they can transition their business and say, hey, here's my business and I'll take a 50% referral fee for life. Great, I love that. I just took someone's database of 600 people. We have agents that do that all the time. And NAR has created a lot of curiosity. The NAR lawsuits have created a lot of curiosity around what we do and our industry. Has anybody been getting asked questions from their friends, family, relatives of hey, what is this thing in the news? This sounds scary.
Surprisingly.
Really?
Rich consumer.
Okay, so this is a heads up. I don't know the exact date. In August, they're sending out millions and millions and millions of postcards to homeowners nationwide. So if you're not getting the question, start getting the question. I think that is the best thing that could happen to us as an industry because look at all that free marketing that we don't have to pay for. Right. And people would be like, what does this mean? I'm not sure. Do I need an agent? Are you getting paid? Are you okay? Right? I would love to answer those questions and help educate people on what's going on. So it's really a good thing, in my opinion. Okay, so what does it take to win in this market? I want to hear from you guys. What do you think it takes to win in this market?
The attitude.
The attitude, I love that. The can-do attitude, right? Every time someone says it's a bad market, it's not. You just need to know how to navigate it, right?
Responsiveness, being able to, even if it's open house late and someone wants to see some listings, you email them or text them at, as soon as you get home. Like, I think being responsive.
Yeah, I love it. Being prompt, on top of it, A-game, okay? Consistency, I love that, yes.
Maybe at the first it's not going to be a win, but the next one
will be. Okay, I love it. So market and local expert of choice. Okay, of choice is the key word there, because A, they need to know that they can come to you. They need to know that they can come to you. You're not a secret agent. They know that you're in real estate, and that they have confidence that, like, hey, I can ask you a question and you're gonna like know exactly what I need to hear, right? Every market is a good market for buying, selling. We just need to know how to navigate it. It's just different. It's a different market, but still a good market. Okay. If you are focusing on a niche, become the expert in that niche of your market, right? If you're like, hey, I really want to be in this certain neighborhood, know when the garage sales are, know when the neighbors are moving, know when trash day is, right? Know your information in those specific neighborhoods. If you're focusing maybe on luxury, right? We know luxury, everything's all in the details. So know what are those details? What does that mean? If you want to focus on buyers, right, we probably need to know that contract like the back of our hand, and we need to know the ways that we can win. If you want to focus on more sellers, being a listing agent, listings are my favorite. That's like my jam. Knowing, okay, what makes a good listing, what makes a bad listing, and how can I explain that to someone fairly quickly. Visibility and transparency around what we do. Oh my gosh, there's never been a better time for us to do a day in the life as a realtor videos, or explain, like, brag about your job, right? Like, I feel like we simplify it. It's like, oh, what'd you do today? Oh, I had a closing. We don't tell them like how long we had to be on the phone with that client, all the things we had to do. Oh my gosh, we're like unpaid therapists most of the time, right? Helping guide them. Especially your clients that are like the ones that have OCD and are flighty and they want to do it, and you're like, just chill, like just relax. It's okay, we got this, we'll help you. So making sure that we're telling people all the things that we do. I told the story yesterday, but we had an agent on our team, and our client, they had stage 4 cancer. And so we needed to list their house. It was a log cabin. We have log cabins in DFW. It's random. I don't know why we do. But we had to help him, and he was selling his house so he can go live with his daughter out of state. And so our agent went, helped him pack, helped him clean the house, staged it with her own furniture that she had in her own home, right? And so when she sold the house, she's like, oh my gosh, all of these amazing things that happen. An example of someone going above and beyond. And we said, hey, tell us about your client. She was like, oh, he was a nice man. Great to help him. I'm like, no, you did like all of these things. Like, we are so bad about talking about ourselves and what we do. So it's uncomfortable sometimes to brag about ourselves, but we need to do a better job at that, because it's not as simple as what they see on TV selling sunset, right? And they sipping champagne. Oh man, I wish I was on a yacht every time I close a deal, right? Like, that's great. But that's what people think. They think, oh my gosh, we make so much money for what we do. And you're like, you don't see all the things behind the scene. You don't see the calls at 11:30 p.m., right, with the client that's like having a breakdown or whatever. So making sure that we're telling people what we do. If you're not on social media, get on social media. Pick one. If you're on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, I don't care. Just pick one. Start talking about what you do every day. I mean, heck, how many of you have put a sign in the front yard? Like, that is not glamorous, especially here in El Paso where it's like really dry. There's a ring. I remember it was one of my very first clients. I was actually an assistant at the time. And our lead agent goes, hey, go take the sign out to this listing. And I'm like, okay, awesome. So I go, I'm like, it's going to be, just sticking it in, walking away. It's middle of summer. I'm like, there's Ring doorbell camera footage of me like body slamming this sign in, trying to get it in. And like the seller is on the Ring, like laughing at me. And I'm like, I'm sorry, look, I'm trying. It's really dry out here, right? But like, that's an important part of our job that people need to know. Like, that's what we do. Share confidence and hope about the market, right? So this is something we're experiencing here. I know Las Cruces Market Center, they said that they're experiencing it. You see a sign go up in a neighborhood, give it a week, you see 3 more signs on the same street, right? People are looking and they're like, is it safe to sell again? Is it safe to move again? Because all they're hearing on the news is, oh my gosh, interest rates are really high. Oh my gosh, our lawsuits, all these things. They have no idea, like, hey, we can help you and it's a good thing. The best time to sell is today. Well, really, best time to sell was yesterday. Second best time to sell is today, right? So they're like peeking out of their window, like, it's safe to do this again. And they need to know, like, hey, yes, we're going to help you. This is how we can do it. This is how we're going to win. And then became a resourceful problem solver. Okay, this is my best advice that I could give you, especially if you have the fear of coming off salesy. If you're like, man, I don't want to sell. I don't know how. It's scary. I feel like I'm, convincing him to do something. Become a resourceful problem solver. So I have a friend that calls me off of a sign. She's like, hey, I see this house. It's by the coffee shop that I always go to. Just curious, give me the details. Like, we're just curious. Mm-hmm. Give her the information. I'm like, are you actually looking to sell? You bought your house like 2 years ago. So mother-in-law has to move in, and she is expecting second baby. They have a really small little townhome. It's perfect for her and her husband, but now that we've got 2 more family members coming, we needed a bigger space. So I said, okay, we'll get you set up, start doing that kind of process. She's like, we're not super serious right now, but when we get really serious, we'll let you know. So that weekend, that happened like on a Monday. So by Saturday, she's at a new construction house. She's like, we're getting ready to sign a contract. I'm like, okay, you're a little bit more serious than I thought. Also, for context, this friend every 2 weeks has a new idea. So yeah, I'm like, we'll see, right? If she brings it up twice, she's serious. Says, but my mom wants me to use her realtor. And I said, hey, but friendships, relationships to me are worth more than any paycheck I will ever get. That's what mom wants you to do, and you think you do that. And if you have any questions, I'm here, right? 2 weeks go by. Closing was supposed to be in July, early July. They had the townhome that they needed to sell, so contingent something. You guys go to the market like yesterday. So of course I'm nosy. 2 weeks go by. Nosy, I'm looking, going MLS. I'm like, oh, their townhouse is not on MLS. So now I'm panicking. Like, this is a friend. I'm panicking, not for the sale, but I'm like, ooh, are you okay? Like, what's going on? I call her, and I'm like, hey, Jolie, like, I didn't see the townhouse up, or is everything still okay and stuff? She goes, well, we learned our lesson. We took advice from the agent. Husband, Mark, is full-time. They're getting pre-approved, and she said it was okay if he moved to part-time during the pre-approval process. And so you can't do that. You can't mess with your income. So now they've got to wait at least 2 years. And so my friend is now panicking, right? It's not about selling. I'm not convincing her to do anything. I was like, hey, would you be okay if I poked around, see what my lenders can do? Let me try to figure out some options for you, because there's no way I'm gonna let my friend move her mother-in-law and have a baby in this tiny little townhouse. Let me figure something out. So I'm calling my lenders and I'm like, Robert, I need you to figure something out. I've got a friend. This is what happened. Give me something out of the box, creative. Okay, great. He's working on it. I call 3 of my lender friends. I'm like, whoever can figure out this problem gets the business. I need you guys to work on this. I'm running comps on our house. I'm like, okay, hey, guess what? There's a recent sale. Sales price goes up. Awesome. I come to her and I'm like, okay, I think I figured it out. We're going to do this. This will get you a bigger house. However, it's not going to be new construction. You've got to go pre-owned. The tears on the other side of the phone of I didn't have to figure this out. I'm not alone, right? It's not about selling. It's about, that's someone's life. Okay, so when you can go and say, how can I help, right? That changes the game. Think about, yes, is it a paycheck? Sure. But at the end of the day, that's a friend that has to, A, provide for her mother-in-law, B, their family is growing, and she can't do all that by herself, right? And she owns a business. So we figured out a way. She's out looking at houses today, back in Dallas with one of my agents. Yeah. Awesome, right? So think of who can you help, right? And that's a story that we're going to tell over and over and over again. Okay, so open houses. How many of you have done an open house and said it was not worth it?
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's okay. You can raise it up. You put the signs out. It's hot. It's summer. You're like, no one came through. Look at this lemonade I made. yes, you've
okay, at least one.
At least one. Okay.
I try not to say that because I never know.
Mm-hmm.
You never know. So I always try to say, okay, I don't know. If I at least talk to one person, then that's good. But yeah, maybe next time I'll do it.
Yes. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. Or you're like, I don't know what time is best.
Yes.
Right. That's my favorite. Everyone asks that question. What time is best? I'm like, if there was an answer, we would all be doing it at that same time. Real estate has existed for such a long time. So, geo farming, right? If there's a neighborhood you want to be in, or a specific area you want to be in, a price point you want to be in, it could be your own neighborhood. Selfishly, I like to look on MLS. I'm like, that house is really pretty. I want to go sell more of those. Where is that house at? We're gonna go do that in this neighborhood. This is an exclusive buyer opportunity. So you have a sphere, we talked about your sphere, but also people that have come to past open houses, people that have called up signs. as an exclusive way to use you as an agent, they get an invite for the first hour. It's not open to the public, invitation only for the first hour. Right? They love that. Everyone loves an exclusive, right? Hey, neighbors, also exclusive for the first hour. Okay, so what we put on MLS, what's advertised, is maybe 1 to 4, from 12 to 1, it's only neighbors, friends, and family. Right? You think you want to use me as your agent if you get to look at the house before everyone else? Heck yeah, that sounds good, right? You're doing the same amount of work, you're just opening up an hour early. Social media opportunities, okay? I love an open house because that is my studio for the day. I'm doing my TikToks, I'm doing my Instagram lives, I'm doing my Facebook videos, right? I'm doing all of my content right then and there so I can just send it out to people. If I'm in an open house, there's been times where I'm like, this house would be perfect for my friend Mariah. Mariah, I'm at this house right now, what are you doing? I'm gonna FaceTime you. And I'm just showing her around, right? So, and I don't care if it's a dead open house or if it's the busiest open house you've ever had, it's always busy. It's always been a good open house, right? There's been times no one's come in. I'm like, I just had a second of a breather, people coming through. Let me show you the virtual tour, right? Paid actor sometimes too, add that to resume. What's great for social media content, I will tell you, I am not an influencer by any means. I post silly, crazy things on my social media. It's just me like out and about. But just posting the house that I'm at that day, I've gotten just this month alone 3 to 4 buyers or sellers off of my Instagram. Again, it's not branded as a real estate page. It is branded as just me. But I have people like, hey, you were in my neighborhood. I sell it on Instagram. I have a condo I have a condo to sell. I'm like, yeah, it's right around the corner. I'll stop by after the open house. Great. Listing appointment right then and there. There's no special algorithm, there's no special trick other than I just post where I'm at for the day, right? And then feedback forms. So feedback forms are my secret sauce on how we convert people at our open houses, buyers and our sellers, right? Crazy idea. I love to do open houses to get a listing on the same street. Okay, and I'll talk about kind of how we do that. When you say like, I'm gonna do an open house for a listing, people are like, get buyers from open houses. It's not the way that we do it, right? So this is our feedback form. Oh, before we get to the feedback form. Okay, this is something, a conversation I had to have with my team. This changed the way that we do open houses, okay? We are not paid based off of attendance. You could have 20 people come through your open house. If you don't walk away with a client, buyer or seller, wasn't worth it, right? So we started judging, is it a good open house? Did I walk away with a client? Yes. If I did not, I have to do more work around it, right? It's not enough anymore just to sit there with your balloons and your cookies and say, okay, who's coming in today? We've got to go actually hunt for business right now, okay? Skill-based marketing. We talked about the broadcast on social media, and the results are in your preparation, okay? So I had an agent that I coach, and he said, Julien, I'm going to hustle today. I'm going to go do 4 open houses in one day. I said, okay. I said, what's their strategy, right? And he was literally just going to go to this open house for a few hours, get in his car, go to this open house for a few hours, go to this open house. I said, what if we hustled on one? What if we just really hustled on one? What would that look like? Well, you'll get more signs, okay? So anything less than 8 signs, probably not enough, right? 10, 15, we need a lot of signs, okay? It's your little billboards that you get to put up for the day. So lots of signs, okay? We door knock before and after our open houses. I'll share my door knocking script with you as well. Inviting the neighbors to come out. We do our social media post. Yes, that's okay. Yeah, do you have a question?
Before the open house, what do you recommend that you go door knocking and that's people would know about it? 2 days a week?
Yeah, I would say you can go that same week. I door knock as many times as I possibly can. So if I know I'm doing an open house, let's say Tuesday. If I know I'm doing an open house on Saturday, I'll probably go door knock today to let the neighbors know. Hey, neighbors only for the first hour. We love a good nosy neighbor. Come take a look at your neighbor's house. The Trevino's are moving. Come on. Well, you let them know. I would do it again the day of the open house. But between now and then, who knows what's going to come up? They're going to forget. They've got soccer games, whatever, life happens. I want to let them know again. And today, they might not be thinking about it. I might be planting that seed in their brain today. And they might be like, oh, I didn't know. They have a beautiful house. They've got a pool. I wonder what the inside of that house is. They're going to be thinking all those thoughts. And then I come back on Saturday and be like, hey, right across the street, See, they're going to be thinking about that. And then the sign's going to be in the yard, right? Let's say sign goes up on Thursday. That sign, you guys, those signs stare those people in the face. I love it. When they check the mail, when they're walking the dogs, it's free advertising. So if they're thinking, right, you put the sign in the yard today, they're like, oh, I didn't know they were moving. I wonder what that house is going to be worth. They start looking it up on Zillow. They start thinking about it. The open house happens. You have a really good turnout. Oh, wow, there's a lot of people. Again, right, they're looking for signs of hope. They're looking for confirmation that it's a good time for them to sell. So all these things are just reinforcing those thoughts of, should I sell? Should I not sell? I don't know. I've had a lot of people, well, if we could sell for this amount, maybe we would put it on the market, right? So when you go back, you're planting the seeds. You've got to go back and pick your crops, right? So go back and door knock even after the open house, so that way you've given it enough time for them to say, yeah, okay, we've thought about it. If we could get X amount for our house, we'd probably sell. Great, let me run comps. Be right back, right? Or come to the open house. I brought my computer. Let me run comps there, okay? So don't be scared of it, right? But it is the most direct, like belly-to-belly, face-to-face conversations that you're having with people. I was actually with my grandparents yesterday, and someone knocked on their door and selling a trash can cleaning service.
Oh, cool.
Or something. I was like, oh, trash can's supposed to be dirty. I don't know, but you know, so I'm like, okay, people door knocking, right? But the man was so nice, and my grandparents are like the first ones to say no to anything. They're like, no, we're not interested. But the guy was so nice, and he was just offering service, and he's like, hey, by the way, we've met some of your neighbors. Do you know your neighbor? Like, he had a whole script prepared. I was like, we need to recruit you to be an agent. I love it, right? But as long as you're offering something of value, you're never going to be upset, right? You know, those people don't do it anymore, but those shows where they would come with a giant check and knock on your door, and like that's how you won. But if someone knocked on my door and they offered me that all day long, right? So think when you're offering something of value, think it's got to be something that I would open my door for, right? You would open your door for. Yes.
Would you wear like Keller Williams shirt?
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. There's an agent, I want to say he's in San Antonio. Same neighborhood. He went every Tuesday. He would go knock on the doors. He had the neighborhood like subdivided and like, I'm going to do 20 today, 20 next week, 20. One neighborhood, that's all he did. And people started recognizing him, and they're like, you're that Keller Williams guy. He took 40 listings on that neighborhood. And he just would not give, who said consistency, attitude? Like, he would not give up. He would go, his trunk had one of those magnets on it. He wore his little name tag, same thing every time. And they recognized me. You're that Keller Williams kid. You're that Keller Williams kid. You're that Keller, yes. Right? And he just kept showing up every week, every Tuesday. And knocking on as many doors as he could. And then after that, you rinse and repeat, because there were people that weren't home the first time you went, and he got them the second time. So, yeah. Brand it out. People know Keller Williams, right? People know good, bad, whatever. They know the name. And so when they see your pretty face up there at the door, you'd be like, oh, yeah, I'm familiar with Keller Williams, right?
Listen.
What are you going to take away from this and implement?
Everything.
What'd you say?
The golden letters.
Put in the work, right? We should be lead generating 3 hours a day. Lead generation can look different for you, right? Golden letters, that's lead generation. Door knocking, that's lead generation. Open houses, that's lead generation. Over task, right? So commit to the thing that you're doing. Stick with it. Give it enough time for it to pay off, right? I'll give the golden letters, for example. So golden letters, we bet on the the post office to be a little slow. So we gave about 2 weeks before we started expecting those to be delivered, right? And then we started getting phone calls. Okay, great. When we started getting phone calls, we sent the next batch out. We had to give it time for those results to start paying off, right? Same thing with your open houses. You've got to give it time. If you're door knocking and then doing your open house, you've got to give it time for those people to come.
Julian, I do
Yeah.
stamp. Okay.
I think so.
The court scene?
And then the envelopes. Now we did, so some of our agents that did creative, they reached out to their title partners and said, hey, if we get a listing and we close that listing with your title company, or, you know, they made some deals with vendors to help buy those postage and stuff for them. And you could do that as well.
What kind of examples do you have as far as like a deal that you would tell the title?
So usually what I'll tell the title companies is like, hey, we're going to go farm this neighborhood. If we can get some listings in this neighborhood, we'll list you as our preferred title company. Well, you know, if you're willing to sponsor X amount of money, they'll do that. We make deals with lenders sometimes. Like, hey, we're going to be doing like a buyer seminar or something like that. If you sponsor the Amazon gift card, we will at least give you the opportunity for them to shop your programs. And so usually I say like, hey, we can't guarantee, right? Because everything's negotiable, but we will at least give you the opportunity to connect you with that client. You can call them, see what you can do. If it doesn't end up working out, at least you have that opportunity, right? I leave it up to them and their skill set. So I am like, if you were to look at my KPA, my structure is really low. I do not like structure. I like spontaneity. I like doing things that Julien likes to do, right? My assistants, it drives them crazy. They think I throw things on my calendar and I'm running late or I'm early to things. Like, it's just chaotic. So we sat down and we said, how do we hack Julien's brain? Okay. So we wrote down these hacks to help. So staying on schedule, right? We have a rule in my office. We can do hard things, but it has to be at a fun place. So if we're making cold calls, we're doing it by the pool.
Wow.
We've got to talk about accounting and our big project. We're doing it at a bar with espresso martinis. We had a big project. We had been like trying to work on it for months. Okay, couldn't get it done. Finally, I was like, we're getting it done this week. However, we cannot do it at the office. I cannot be at the office anymore this week. So I said, meet me at this. To text my assistant, meet me at this office or meet me at this bar. I'm getting espresso martinis. We're gonna not 3 hours. Put our phones on do not disturb. We're gonna do this. We got it done in an hour. Why? Because it was fun, right? It's not work anymore, right? 3 espresso martinis in, you're like, okay, we need to stop working after this, right? We did. So what are ways that you can hack your life? I heard schedule, right? I'm a chatty Cathy. I will always stay late talking to people. It's part of my personality. I don't know. Try to fix it. So what do my assistants do? We front load my calendar 30 minutes before and 30 minutes after anything I do.
What time do we?
So if I want to stop and go get a Red Bull on my way to my next appointment, I got time. Right?
To spin birds today.
Now, what happens if I'm early? No one's ever mad if you're early.
Thanks.
Get to listen to one more song, one more TikTok before I go into my next appointment, right?
But
If I'm late, my assistants are like, "How are you late? Just give you an extra 30 minutes." What do you mean? Right? You had a question?
I didn't have a question. I just had